Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for the season finale of The Leftovers. Season 1, Episode 10, The Prodigal Son Returns. And holy shit, this was an awesome finale. Really, this was an awesome finale. And one of the things this episode did very well was it kind of wrapped up a lot of the storylines. It did some things I didn't think they were going to do. I thought they were going to kill off a major character, and they didn't. We'll get to some of the big things. I did not expect that what happened at the end to happen at the end of this episode. I did not expect that to happen, and it really makes sense why they showed the flashback episode, before this episode. It makes perfect sense now why they decided to do that. And because of that, honestly, I think that's why this episode was so good. Because they showed the flashbacks before, we now know the characters more. We now know who they are more. And I thought that was definitely very well done. And I cannot wait for Season 2. It is going to be amazing. And I can already tell Season 2 is going to be better than Season 1. Just from the end of this episode. So, basically, the episode begins after the last episode, and it's a very weird way to start. Leftovers usually starts weird. We hear this song being played, Name Me Quate Pas, plays in the background, and Kevin is just staring at Patti's corpse. He's really just staring at her. This is after Patti has killed herself, and he's just staring at her. He really has no real idea of what to do, because his plan apparently involves... he starts smoking a cigarette, and then he calls Matt, and that was definitely very surprising. And the thing is, Kevin just does not know what to do in that situation, and I don't blame Kevin, because it's really, what do you do in that situation? Seriously, what do you do there? So Kevin's smoking, and the scene then switches to Jill, and of course Jill has gone to the GR, so she's also smoking. Also, we see Meg, she's officially GR'd, she is not speaking and everything, and basically, she joins Laurie, and it was definitely a very good scene. I definitely really enjoyed that, especially because of the fact that, the thing that's so big about this is, of course, Laurie hated the fact that Kevin smoked. So the question is, why is she smoking? Because it's the way of the cult, and she really doesn't give a shit anymore. So, overall, I thought that was a good way to start the episode. I really enjoyed the way they started. Just, wow, what a really good way, in my opinion, to start the episode. So, Laurie is distressed about Jill joining her. She's not really happy. She's saying, please, Jill, she writes, please, Jill, go home, and Jill's not going to. She does not want to. She has, she won't hear of it. And she then strips down to her underwear in front of the GR, quickly donning their white uniform and refusing to speak. Now, that was huge when that happened. I was like, okay, Jill is definitely messed up. Definitely. We've seen Jill be messed up before. So Meg basically says at least you'll be together, and she wants to know if the plan is still on. We're gonna talk about what the plan is in a second. Now, when they said the plan, I'm like, what is their actual plan here? I want to know what their plan is, and when we found out, it's huge. We're gonna get to what their plan is in a second, but definitely that was definitely very interesting. So then, just before the opening credits, guess who we finally see again for the first time? Christine and Tom. Christine and Tom, they have, in my opinion, been not treated right in the past few episodes. They have not had really anything happen in the past few episodes. They really haven't, if you think about it. They haven't much happened with them. And the thing with Christine and Tom is that, Tom, as far as Tommy goes, as far as that goes, the last time we actually saw this plot was episode 7. So... Tommy, of course, Christine now has this child. Tommy really wants to care for it. He wants to be there. He wants to provide for the child. And I like that Tommy wanted to be there for the child. He's driving in the heavy rain, attempting to get both him and Christine home. And Christine's daughter is crying. And Christine ends up abandoning her in the gas station bathroom. And I was just like, what the fuck? Why'd she do that? So Tommy finds and rescues the baby. And it was definitely, that was just like, holy shit. I did not expect that to happen, definitely. And, that was definitely very big, and, basically Tom has to basically find out what he wants to do with this baby now, because obviously he can't raise it on his own. He can't raise it on his own, so the question is, what is he going to do with that baby? We don't find out till the end of the episode. I thought that was well done, though, that we didn't find out till the end of the episode. I for whatever reason, I just found that well done. I did. So then we see, what the GR's plan is. Now, the GR, as we know... They, for episodes, have been doing some very weird rituals. They've been cutting people's faces out of pictures. They've been, putting all those clothes together. If you remember, Patti put all those clothes together. The white shirts and things like that. She's been putting it all together. And basically, we find out what their ritual, what their plan is. And it is a sick plan. And when I say it's a sick plan, it is a very sick plan. Not the good kind of sick. This is a bad kind of sick, really. Basically, we see Nora discovering that the plastic facilities of her family that the GR have placed in her kitchen, they basically have exact replicas of her family in her kitchen in an attempt to remind the town of what they lost. And Nora's just, you gotta feel bad for her because Nora just got over, you know, her grief. She just got over it. All that pain went away. Wayne, again, took away all that pain from her, and for her to be reminded of it, I mean, you gotta feel bad for her because she's reminded of it again. She really did not need to be reminded of it, and it was definitely very sad in my opinion. I really felt bad for Nora in that scene. And it was really well done the way that was done. I understand why they need to do that scene, but just, wow, I was not expecting the GR to go that far. I really wasn't. The GR really went farther. They definitely went, very far. Definitely. So, yeah, that was just crazy. Definitely. That was, absolutely crazy. Absolutely nuts there. So then we see Matt arrive, and he goes to Kevin, and they are burying Patti's body, and this scene, by far, this was Justin Theroux's best performance in the show so far. Because we finally see Kevin kind of change in this scene. Kevin goes from an anti-hero to a hero in this scene. He discusses what exactly happened, and Matt believes Kevin, but also forces him to read a Bible passage in memory of Patti. And this passage just makes Kevin realize, you know, some things. You know, he starts to realize some things about himself. Basically, it was a very good scene. I thought Justin Theroux's performance in that scene was just very, very well done, in my opinion. Awesome stuff there. I just thought it was a great scene, definitely. Also, it's also Memorial Day. I forgot to say, it is Memorial Day. So yeah, it's Memorial Day, and I forgot to say that. So, basically, yeah, that was definitely a great scene, in my opinion. I thought that was just a very good scene, and it really shows that Kevin is starting to get over the whole him not being happy with things. He's kind of starting to get, you know, he's starting to realize that, no, he's not happy with things, and he's never going to be satisfied, and he wants to change that, and I like that about his character. I like that now Kevin's a little bit more of a likable character. I like that, definitely. So basically, they drive away, they pull up in front of this large brick building, and this was just like, what the fuck? They go to this hospital, and Kevin is inside, and Matt tells him I had to, and as Kevin is like screaming, and he's dragged into a mental hospital, and it's the same hospital that his father has held, and I was like, is this startup or something? Like, seriously, this was just like, I was not expecting this to happen at all, and it was just very weird, definitely very weird. So Kevin's muttering to himself, he's claiming innocence, and it's clear that there is something off about this hospital. It doesn't seem right. It seems to be like some sort of solitary confinement. It does not seem right at all. The second this happened, I'm like, there's something definitely going on here. So he's also allowed to leave and watch TV with his, you know, basically they believe that he murdered someone. They pretty much think that he murdered Patti. That's what's going on here, is that they think that he murdered Patti, but they let him watch TV with his father? What? That just does not make sense. Really, that doesn't. And the TV watching, we see a curious detail about the National Geographic magazine. We see, basically, it's a note from his father. And the note says, stop fucking talking to yourself and they'll let you watch TV. So Kevin goes in the television room and his father discusses the events of October 14th. And his father adamant that only bad people were left behind. You know, basically he's saying, none of us wondered why we were left here. And basically, we now have a new theory. The reason that they were left on the Earth, the reason they were left there is because they were the people that were sort of douchebags and bitches and those sort of people. The bad people on the Earth were left on Earth, you know, those kind of people. But the thing is, Nora's not a bad person. Matt's not really a bad person, even though we don't know if we can trust him. I wouldn't say, Laurie is a bad person. Jill, Laurie, I would say they're a bad person. Tom doesn't really seem like a bad person to me. Not everyone that's left seems like a bad person, and I don't think that's entirely true. So, the second he said that, I'm like, what? And so Kevin insists, neither am I, and his father tells him, but I'm a bad man, and bad men end up here. So, basically that's what his father says to him. And then it gets stranger, because we then see Patti, and it's like, Patti just died, what the fuck is going on here? And she ends up, like, being very sexual towards Kevin, and the second that happened, I'm like, okay, this is not real. Basically, he didn't thrust the knife, she tells him that he didn't thrust the knife deep enough, and it's very, like, overly sexual, definitely, and, basically, she then starts screaming at him, she says, wake up, and she's like, wake the fuck up, and then he wakes up. It was all a dream, so, I mean, that was very well done, in my opinion, because it's like, what exactly is going on here? And that scene was just like, what the fuck is going on? I did not know what to think of that scene. I thought it was well done. I did. I thought that scene was definitely very well done. So then Matt takes him to a roadside dinner. We actually see where they're actually going. Matt is taking him to a roadside dinner where, over cheeseburgers, they discuss Kevin's moral state. And I was glad that he confessed to Tom that he was thinking of leaving Laurie and, and cheated on her on October 14th. I thought that was definitely very well done because it really just shows, it's very much like when Nora got rid of all the pain that she was going through. That's very much what's going on here, and I thought that was definitely very well done. I really enjoyed that. Basically, Matt's shocked to hear that this other woman disappeared right in front of Kevin, because she did, and then basically absolves Kevin all of his sins. I just thought this was just a very well done scene. He says it's not your fault, and basically, meaning the departure and guilt that followed, and, yeah, that's true. It's not his fault the departure happened. Kevin is basically blaming himself at this point. And this is true, though it also conveniently ignores the fact that while departure wasn't Kevin's fault, the whole cheating on his wife thing was. That was his fault. Yes, that was his fault, but the departure was not his fault. So I thought that was a very well done scene. Really shows Kevin starting to come to terms with himself, and I thought that was just well done in my opinion. I really enjoyed that. So after their talk, Kevin goes to the bathroom, and he finds a bloody Holy Wayne sitting in one of the stalls. Holy Wayne basically is about to die. He is about to die, and he begs Kevin to stay with him. I thought it was huge when Holy Wayne was going to die, because here's the thing. Holy Wayne is the person that can take the pain away from someone, and now that he's dead, who's going to take the pain away from him? Matt. Matt is going to take the place of Holy Wayne, and if that's the case, then that's going to be awesome next season. So, basically, he's about to die. He begs Kevin to stay with him, not wanting to die alone. He promises to grant Kevin one wish, and it kind of seems like a get-out-of-jail-free card for Kevin. And basically, what ends up happening is that, we're still not acknowledging that he's not that, not that great of a person, but the thing is that he basically, he gives Kevin one wish, and yeah, so that happened, everything, and I thought that was definitely a good scene. I really enjoyed that scene because Wayne's kind of absolving Kevin of all his sins. It's kind of like, go in there with a clean slate, be a new person. I definitely like that. I like the message that the show tries to do. I like the message that the show has, where it always tries to give you the message of, nothing is forever. Nothing's forever. You can change something if you don't like it, and I thought that was definitely a very well done message, and I like the way they portrayed that in this episode. Definitely very well done. So then the episode starts to get really, really intense. After this, the episode was just, shit went down after this scene. Just really, shit went down. And it got awesome after that. It really did. It really got awesome here. Basically, what ends up happening is Kevin, Kevin then, they arrived back to Mapleton. And also, Kevin's released, and Matt tells the officers that Kevin is a police chief from Mapleton, New York, so that's how Kevin's released from prison. So I thought that was a good scene overall. I thought that was definitely good. And, basically, what ends up happening after this is that, what ends up happening is Kevin returns to Mapleton. And this is when things shit goes down. As I said, shit goes down here. We see the town's angry residents have lit the GR's home on fire, and GR members are being beaten in the streets. And it's to the point where Kevin finds a hurt Meg and asks her what's going on, and she smiles and right, we made them remember. Now, I don't know if, call me crazy, but was the woman that was shooting all of the, all the people, that she was shooting, was that, I don't know if I'm right about this. I'm pretty sure that the person that she was shooting was the first actress, the first person we've seen on this show. The one that lost her baby. I think that's the same girl. I'm not sure, but I think it is. So, basically, Kevin sees a bloody Meg, and he asks, what did she do? And Meg writes, we made them remember. We made them remember the departure. We made them what happened. We made them remember, so now they're going crazy on us. And basically, they're realizing that the GR is over at this point. The GR is over. There is no point in it continuing. They burned the fucking house down. There's no point in continuing now. So Kevin sees the town in a very chaotic state, and he sees Mayor Lucy Warburton, who tells Kevin that he was right. He was right all along, basically, that he was right about the departure. He was right about everything, pretty much. And I thought that was definitely a very good scene. And, here is where just this scene, oh my god, this scene was awesome. I thought this was definitely awesome. We see this bonfire raging, and as I said, a lot of shit's going down. Crazy, crazy, fire and everything. You guys can get the picture in your head. And Laurie is pulled out of the GR house, and basically, she's pulled out of the GR house, and she, basically is found by Kevin in the streets, and she just has this she has this look on her face, like something bad is about to happen, something bad's gonna happen, and she just has this look on her face. And she actually talks, and it's awesome because months of silence, and months of silence after this happening, after a year of this happening, she finally speaks in a year, and she finally says one word to him, and that is Jill. She just says Jill. And that makes him very concerned. It turns out that Jill is gonna die in that building. She's gonna die if he doesn't save her. And basically, I thought that was just very, very big, very well done in my opinion, just really, really big. And Kevin races into the burning home, finds Jill, heads outside, and yeah, so he heads outside with Jill, and that's where they go to. He heads outside. So after this, what happens? What happened after this? I'm trying to remember. What happened after this? Okay. So yeah, I thought that was a great scene because it's just like from, months from this, Laurie is finally talking again. Just very well done, in my opinion. So then that same morning, in a different part of town, Nora tucks her mannequins into bed, kissing the plastic foreheads of her fake children, and writes a note to Kevin. It's kind of sounds like a suicide note, but she's not gonna kill herself. She literally said, I'm not gonna kill myself here. I don't have the audacity to do it. I'm not gonna do that. And, basically she's running away. She is, I don't blame Nora for doing this because she was reminded of the pain that she went through, and she writes a letter saying she was pretending she didn't lose everything, and she said she tried to feel better, but she's beyond repair. She is not better at all. She was just pretending, and it makes sense because I thought when she started to act, in a good way, I thought she was being a little too overly positive. Definitely, I thought she was being a little too overly positive, and that makes sense. She was faking it the entire time. So she said she tried to feel better, but she's beyond repair. She thinks maybe they loved each other, and at one time, I think she does love Kevin. I think she does. I don't think that's what this is. I don't think it's that she doesn't love Kevin. I think it's the fact that she can't go through a relationship right now. She can't. She's just too unstable to go through this right now, and she wants him to wish her luck, which, basically, that's how the episode, that's what ended up happening there. So he wishes her luck, and, so yeah, that's what basically happened there. And then a little surprising thing at the end. I was not expecting this. A couple things that were surprising. Kevin and Jill walking in the streets. They reunite with the crazy dog that was tied up in their backyard. That makes sense. Why that happened. And basically, Laurie reunites with Tom, and they just fade into the distance. So Laurie and Tom are going out on their own. So that's going to be interesting because we haven't seen Tommy the whole episode. So Laurie and Tommy go out on their own. I'm interested in seeing where Tommy and Laurie are going to go to, definitely. It's going to be very interesting to see what ends up happening there. And Nora goes off to drop off the letter. And she then finds Christine's baby on the Garvey's doorstep, and that's where Tom left the baby. And this kind of makes you hopeful, actually, for the show. It makes you hopeful because now Laurie is talking again. She has her life on a good path. She's with Tom. She could maybe repair Tom's life. Jill and Kevin are reunited. The GR's over. That whole thing is over. But there's still a lot that's going on. Definitely still a lot that's going on. Nora is leaving. She's going to leave, but I don't think she's going to leave now because she has to raise this child. Definitely. She has to raise this kid. And, basically it was going to be Jill and Kevin. So is she going to tell Kevin about this baby? Is she going to tell him about it? I'm wondering if she is going to. Where are Tom and Laurie heading to? I'm very interested in seeing where they're going to head to. Matt. I think Matt next season is going to be like Wayne. He's going to be able to take the pain away from all the people. Because Kevin is now a different type of person. He is no longer an anti-hero. He's now more of a hero. You root for him more. Even though he did some bad things, the show made us forgive him, definitely. I thought it was good that the show had us forgive him. I thought that was definitely very well done, in my opinion. Definitely really enjoyed that. So, basically, yeah, that's what ended up happening there, and then as far as what's going to happen, as far as GR goes, that's over. That whole thing is over. Now, the other thing is Kevin's conversation with his father. That wasn't real. The whole thing with Patti and everything, that wasn't real. However, I do think what that is trying to say is that Kevin is a bad person. There are many bad people in the world, and Kevin needs to sort of redeem himself. Do you think Kevin has redeemed himself? I have a question for you guys. Do you think Kevin has changed from this experience? I think he has. The show didn't explicitly tell us, but I think he has pretty much changed. I think he has. I just think he has, in my opinion. Now let's talk about the season overall. The season of The Leftovers overall was amazing. I love the season. Thought it was just such a good season. Seriously. Such a good season. Loved the season. Loved everything that was going on in the show. The show kind of had a rocky start. Like, the first episode was good. Second episode was good. Fourth and fifth, a little too weird. By the 6th episodes, they started to patch things up. Things started to make sense. And I think especially because of what they did in the 9th episode, that is why this episode made so much sense and why it was the best episode of the season. Definitely that's why this episode made so much sense. And I thought that was definitely very well done in my opinion. But yeah, overall, that's in my review, and I really can't wait for Season 2. I really feel Season 2 is going to be an amazing season. I really can't wait for it. I know it's going to be just such a great, great season. I can't wait for it, especially because Laurie and Tom are now reunited, so that's going to happen, and then we're going to have Jill and Kevin reunited, so that's going to be cool. Is Nora going to take the baby? Is she going to give it to Kevin? Does she truly love Kevin? I think the baby is sort of trying to show that, that Nora is going to sort of realize that she can move on. I think that's what's going on here, is that Nora just needs to move on. She was trying to move on, and she kind of did it too quickly, and I think this baby is going to help her move on, definitely. We'll have to see what happens there. But, overall, I love the first season. Thought it was just a fantastic season. I really did. And I thought this finale was amazing. Perfect finale. The way they end everything was fantastic, and I just can't wait for Season 2. I'm going to miss reviewing The Leftovers to you guys. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to miss reviewing it to you. I love watching this show. I thought it was a fantastic show, and I'm definitely going to miss it. That's basically for my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for another season finale, the season finale of Teen Wolf, which is going to be very long. Long episode, longest episode I've seen on any MTV show, but it should be all kinds of awesome, so I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.